Brady Kannon. Guys, we have a full slate starting on Christmas Day. Let's get right to it. The Cowboys going to Washington, a meaningless game, laying 6.5. But as you know, you can bet on these. There's no such thing as a meaningless game. And right now, looks like we might see Josh Johnson, 39-year-old Josh Johnson for the Commanders. The Cowboys, 3 straight losses after it looked like a promising turn and they might make the playoffs. I just think they're going to shred this Commanders defense that's given up 108 points in the last 4 games. The first meeting was 44-22. I could only look at laying the points. RJ, what are you doing with this game?
I can only look at taking the points. I mean, Dallas just doesn't have a defense that covers big numbers typically. I know they did in that first game, but they certainly did not look like that defense last week. And Josh Johnson, veteran in this league, he can move the ball. He has some weapons on that offense. If it is him at quarterback, we don't know that for sure. Mariota, I believe, was typified as day-to-day by the coach on Monday. So we'll see if it is Johnson, in fact. Even if it is him, I'd only make this line 5, so I'll take the value with the home team.
Brady?
I don't really know what to do with the side. I think you guys both make good cases either way. And it is, I believe, pending a bit on the quarterback decision. Obviously, Mariota, in my opinion at least, gives the Commanders a much better chance to be competitive in this game. They really probably, or good chance they would have won outright against the Eagles last weekend, I believe, if Mariota stays in that game. Josh Johnson, a fellow USD alum, not necessarily a classmate of mine, but the same school, played for Jim Harbaugh there for the Toreros. And, I think when this guy comes into the game for your team, it spells trouble. Like you said, Larry, from the top, a meaningless game. Both of these teams are really poor on defense. A lot of guys questionable on defense for the Cowboys, too. Quinnen Williams, overshown. Wilson, the safety, and Carson, the cornerback. I think if I'm going to play this game, I'm looking at over the total. Like you say, nothing to play for. Happy action, fun time, I think, is what we're going to get here. A lot of offense, a lot of points. I'd only look to go over the total in this one.
Danny, you like points too.
Totally agree with Brady's sentiment. And the Cowboys secondary has been awful without Deron Bland. He's on the injured reserve. Brady mentioned a number of other injury concerns. I don't trust either of these teams to get a stop, frankly. And the Cowboys, for, as much as America's team they've been, they show up on holidays. They always put up a big number on Thanksgiving. You get a Christmas Day game here. I think they show out that offense. I think they can put up 30 plus. I was looking at that Cowboys team total over 27.5. That moved over the key number of 28. So, I was leaning towards that way. But if Josh Johnson does play, it was all the way back in 2021, but he played the scores of 41-25 and 41-21. This game can go way over the total with just an offensive showing on both sides, I think.
And this next game, Lions at Vikings, has a lot of meaning for the Lions. They need to win out and have the Packers lose out to make the playoffs, so they're not dead, and they could be facing Max Brosmer instead of J.J. McCarthy. Now, Max Brosmer was a disaster in his first start at Seattle. 4 interceptions, a comically bad pick 6, but he played pretty well against the Giants. 7 of 9, had a big 21-yard completion to J.J. to kind of close that game out. And the way the Vikings defense is playing during this 3-game winning streak, I could only look at taking the points with the way the Lions are so banged up, especially along that offensive line. RJ, you agree with me?
I would lean to the points, I would think, but I like the over better at 44.5. Like you said, Brosmer looked better in the second half than he did in his start, and he has an easy matchup against a battered secondary. The Lions have been giving up points left and right, and that's why 7 of late 8 Lions games since the bye have gotten to 50 points. 4 of those have gotten to 60 points, and 2 have gotten to 70 points. So considering this game is indoors, I think this number should be higher. I think Detroit's going to score a lot of points, and I think Brosmer, if he is the quarterback again, we don't know about J.J. McCarthy's status as of Tuesday, but if it is Brosmer, I think he can get to at least 20 against this defense. So I like over 44.5 here.
Brady, you going the same way with the total or with the side?
I tend to agree with you, Larry, and the points you bring up about the Vikings taking the points here. It is, must-win situation for the Detroit Lions. They're a really good team. They're just really injured. And I think because of their ability to put points on the board, that this line is inflated a little bit, probably also because they're in a must-win situation. It's a same-season revenge situation. So, everybody's used to seeing the Lions light up a scoreboard. And I think there's probably a bit too many points here. The Vikings worry me, though, with Brosmer or McCarthy. I'd probably rather have McCarthy in there, but they also are nursing a lot of injuries here. Hawkinson, Jordan Mason, Ryan Kelly, the center, with a concussion. Hargrave, Christian Darrisaw is out. So this is a tough one for me, Larry, but I would probably take the points here if you made me bet it, just because I think the line is probably inflated on Detroit.
Yeah, and Minnesota wins the first game as 9.5-point underdogs. They win outright. Danny, I think you're looking at a prop in this one.
I am, and it's in part because of that revenge spot. They're looking to play motivated here, not fully out of the playoffs, and looking to beat the Vikings, who got them last time. Well, you know who the Vikings did not contain was Amon-Ra St. Brown, who typically destroys this Brian Flores defense. 9 games against the Vikings, he's averaging 92 receiving yards. So I'm going to go over 78.5 for Amon-Ra St. Brown here. I think he does it again to him. You look at these teams, they played in early November, and Amon-Ra had 9 catches on 13 targets, way over this number. I think he does it once more in a spot that the Lions will be playing motivated and can get their wide receiver one over a high receiving yards total.
The final game of the night in Kansas City, not what we expected to see a few weeks ago. This is nearly a two-touchdown spread for the Broncos. They get the number 1 seed if they win out, so that's all the motivation in the world. But to me, this number is totally out of control. Even though the Chiefs are going with Chris Oladokun, the third stringer, he wasn't bad. 11 of 16, 111 yards. He can move around. And the Chiefs defense, they still have some pride. This is a division game. I think this is way too many points. RJ, what do you think?
Yeah, Denver's not a team by wins this much. Just 2 of their wins all year were by more than 1 score. They like to play down to competition. I cannot get that Jets game out of my head ever when I think about, why is Denver going to run up the score against a defense that isn't playing well? And last week we knew going in, definite flat spot for the Chiefs. I almost made the Titans my best bet on this program. Now they're embarrassed. They should show up at home, especially defensively, against a rival. I think that Oladokun can get it done here. 13 is way too many. Imagine if you're in Survivor, though, and you save the Chiefs this long thinking that you're going to use them on the standalone slate, and all these quarterback injuries happen. You're like, well, can I really use them plus 13 now? So I would use them plus 13 in ATS, but to win, it's going to be questionable here.
RJ, I would give anything to be one of 10 left in Circa Survivor playing for $18 million at this point, no matter who I had left for the Christmas slate. Brady, what are you doing with this game?
I'd be on the Chiefs as well. Larry, you and I spoke last week, and I thought the Chiefs would show up with competitive pride against the Tennessee Titans. Didn't really work out. I got burned by multiple quarterback injuries last week, too. Is Gardner Minshew going to lead that team to the victory? I don't know. But does Tennessee win in a rout if it's Oladokun there, the third stringer for the Kansas City Chiefs? And I agree with you guys. I'll go back to the well and ride this narrative that they are going to show up and have some competitive pride. RJ says it. Nobody likes to be embarrassed. And it's just too many points. It's also a really tough spot for the Denver Broncos. While I think that loss was good for them, a nice wake-up call, a little check before they head into the postseason, they've also got the Chargers on deck. And they know that this Chiefs team right now is absolutely a wounded animal. And I don't know if they're looking ahead, but it's not the same Kansas City Chiefs game here. And the Chargers game next week is certainly more important. So, yeah, too many points here. I'd hold my nose and take the 13 with KC.
Danny, you going to ride with the dog like the rest of us?
Absolutely disgusting, but Chiefs are nothing, I think. I'm seeing some 13.5s pop up. The market couldn't be lower on Kansas City, so maybe you wait and you get a 14. Unlikely, as that's obviously a huge number. But I think they can do enough to hang around. RJ remembers the Jets game he can't get out of his mind. Please erase that primetime 10-7 Raiders win out of my mind. I mean, this Broncos team, like he said, has played down to competition. Oladokun, still not sure how to say it, but I think he can cover a big number. The Chiefs team total sitting at 11.5. If they can put up 12, 13 points, I think they can cover this with the total sitting at 36.5. So simple betting math, low total, I'll take a lot of points.